Soon I'll be 21. Besides the fact that it has been 4 years since I started this channel, and the fact that it's been way longer than that being on the platform, I've been reminiscing. I create my projects based around the idea of pushing forward and doing something different. Of course, there's constant inspiration for my projects, and that's by learning the world. I learn myself, I learn about others, and I look back at what I had in my life. Today, I want to share some stuff from my childhood. Childhood moments, I feel, are what capture a person's personality. Your mind kind of wraps around similar interests in life and what leads to you being you. Back then, I was a pretty typical kid. Whiny, played video games, played with toys, hated reading. Part of growing up is accepting things that came into your life. I hated vegetables, and hey, I'm now willing to eat some. Progress. I hated mainstream music. I was into real music. Yeah, I had a weird EDM phase. Getting ahead of myself, the point is I grew up and I had interests I loved that formed me. Before I start with each thing, I want you guys to comment down things or interests from your childhood that formed you. It would be a great shared circle thing. Now, let's reminisce. I believe in a lot of kids' lives has revolved around a certain element. Video games. You've either grown up with video games, you were indifferent, or you just couldn't get into them. And I, on the hand, did grow up with them. Now, what video games did I grow up with? The Wii. That is right, I grew up in the Wii generation. That also means the DS and the PlayStation 3 era of video games. But the Wii was like my very, the one system I can think of actually playing video games. So let's start with that. When me and my sister got the Wii for Christmas, of course the game that was bundled with it was Wii Sports. The classic of the Wii games. Tape is coming apart. Now it was the game that was bundled with all the Wiis. It was a free tech demo. It was a cool one at that. I remember playing a lot of bowling, golf, and baseball for a lot of time by myself. Because really, my sister didn't really turn out to be a gamer for a while. But I was the resident gamer of the household. And I went to Wii Sports back a lot because I like digital sports. The one actual sport that I got into was soccer. And that was the one thing that I could get into and be good at. I was still a kid, so I wasn't really good at it. But another staple of the Wii were the Just Dance games. Now, seeing with our Just Dance 3, we got the Best Buy exclusive with 2 bonus tracks with Katy Perry's E.T. and Teenage Dream. There was quite a lot of songs that I got into with Just Dance 3. It was quite the workout, actually. A lot of workout songs, surprisingly. And then we got 4. This one I also came back to a lot. Not the Best Buy exclusive though. That's upsetting. I think I remember coming to this one a lot for Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger. I think I remember playing that in front of my sister's friends. Not intentionally, just they were just there, and I was trying to play Just Dance because, I mean, come on, it's Just Dance. What about actual party games? What did I have to host my friends for playing while we play with the Wii? Wipe Out the Game. This was one of my favorite party games to play with friends, even though that most of the time they didn't want to. So most of the time I just played it by myself, but this was a fun time. I remember watching the Wipeout show a lot when I was younger, and it's a really fun game. I wish people would play it more. What other party games that I have? How about Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games? That is right, Beijing 2008 Olympics. It's an official video game from the Olympics. They no longer are partners with Nintendo and Sega. So this was an automatic staple in video game history because it was a crossover between Mario and Sonic. Wow. But for the Olympic Games, yeah, that was an odd choice. But I remember having some fun with this game. I remember not liking a lot of the mini games in there, but it was something. Mario Kart Wii. I have embarrassing feelings about this game because, well, I did like it a lot of the time. It wasn't a game that I was good at a lot of the time. I remember like using the wheel a lot. That was the thing. When I was younger, I was like, okay, I gotta play with the wheel because that's the only way that it works. No, I soon found out that it was just plastic. You don't really need the wheel. It's just a novelty item. They sold you plastic. Another party game in my Wii collection was Mario Party 8, obviously. The well-received game? I have not heard stuff. I have not heard good stuff about Mario Party 8. A lot of people like the GameCube Mario Party games. But I didn't have a GameCube. I had a Wii. The most successful casual-friendly video game system. So Mario Party 8, while I did play with friends quite a few times, I just played it a lot by myself against CPUs. So that was the time. You know, when I was younger, I never really like beat the solo adventure mode. I never even really went to that often. I would just always play the full party game with the 3 computers. But it wasn't until it was still long ago, but like years after of playing video games, I finally beat the solo mode and I unlocked the Bowser map. I was like, whoa! I could finally play the Bowser map. Well, it sucks then, because I have Mario Party on the Switch. Now, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This was a cool video game. It was just like, whoa, all these Nintendo characters are fighting in this realistic setting. Realistic. And realistic. Now, the thing is, I wasn't good at Super Smash Bros. Now, a lot of times that I played with my friends with this game, I was not good. I got my beat like all the time with this game. I've only really liked it for the solo adventure mode, but I never really beat it. I only got to like certain points of the story mode, and I was like, okay, that's fun, and I'm having trouble with this level. Start over. Yeah. As for like the final like relatively party game, we have Mario Sports Mix. This was released towards the end of the Wii's life. Of course, I don't remember that because I had no knowledge of video game systems. So this one's quite funny. It has all 4: dodgeball, volleyball, basketball, and hockey. I remember liking the dodgeball the most. I hated volleyball. Hockey is a second. Basketball is a close second. I remember playing the story mode a lot. Even though I never really... I did beat it, but not like did like the expert hard mode stuff because I was a child. With this game, I used to role play a lot. See, I have Mario and Luigi on my team because they're Mario and Luigi, but I'll also have my me as the main character. So like, oh my god, guys, I need your help. I need your help to win all these sports tournaments to defeat my Final Fantasy friends, even though I didn't know what Final Fantasy was. So I didn't know that they were Final Fantasy characters. I thought they were just original characters. I had quite the active imagination. This one, I can't really count as belonging to me because this was my cousin's, and when I went to their house a couple times, my eyes were always drawn to this game. I've always wanted to play this game when I was at his house, but he didn't really like it, so he just gave it to me, and now I have it. It's a Nintendo Selects version of this game, even though there's not really anything. It's just at a discount and whatnot. But I love Mario Striker Charge because it was so edgy and cool. Like, whoa, I get to play this cool edgy game. Something like that. Couple more games here. Of course, the staple of the Wii, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I love this game because I always played this with my family, my parents and my sister, and it was such a fun time for like playing like all together. Even though we struggled a lot in playing the game, there would be a lot of yelling. Healthy yelling. It's okay. We're all good. It was just video game competitive edge, you know. Now, any like other just single player experiences or at least co-op experiences, here's another one. Ben 10 Alien Force. I love the show, and I supposedly saw this game and like, I want that. So I was given Ben 10 Alien Force. It's just a beat 'em up. Yeah, you go into one area, and then you gotta beat the bad guys. Then you move to the next area. You gotta beat more bad guys. There is barely any puzzle in this game. But it was a fun one because I love Ben 10. Now, any other experiences that I had with this Wii? Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War II. Yeah, I don't know. This is a Ubisoft game that's rated T for teen, and I had this. We just had this. I'm not sure if like I wanted it or I got it as a birthday present or a Christmas gift or something that my dad wanted, or it was just given to me. I don't know. I don't know the origin of owning this game. I remember playing it. I remember playing like the first mission. And then that was it because I never really knew what to do with it. I was just flying the plane, but I'd always crash. So yeah, I don't know why I have this. And as a staple of as a kid playing video games, I had the Lego games. First off was Lego Batman. I did beat this game by myself. And that was a fun time. No, I should say, it's Batman. Other Lego games that I had were Lego Harry Potter, both of them, years 1 to 4 and 5 to 7. I really only played like 1 through 2 most of the time. I played like the first few minutes of this one. Yeah, safe to say I never beat them. Now, Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones 2, so the original adventures and the adventure continues. So I remember playing this one a lot. I never really fully beat it though. This one I played like the first few minutes. I never really beat it. I remember playing like a lot of the custom games, I think they were. Yeah, like creating your own levels and playing them. I remember doing that mostly. So Indiana Jones and Harry Potter, yeah, no. But Lego Batman, yes. But most importantly of my Wii collection was Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. These are one of my favorite games. These are both of my favorite games of all time, especially from the Wii. This is the one story that I can actually remember. So, one time we were on a road trip for Thanksgiving at my uncle's house. He also had a Wii, and of course, as a kid, I wanted to play on it. And one of the games that he had was Super Mario Galaxy. So I remember just playing the first few minutes of it, and I was engrossed in it. Like, I just wanted to play this game forever because it was so cool, so lively, and I was practically begging my parents to like, I want this game. I want to play this game. which I ended up nagging him a lot too much, and we stopped in the middle of our road trip when we were heading home to buy the game because I wanted it now. And also, like, the thing was, we discovered it when Super Mario got, like, after a while, I presume, like, Super Mario Galaxy 2 came out. So it was like, wait, there's a second one? And I was, like, tied between, like, oh, which one do I get? 1 or 2? I went with 1 because that was the one I got hooked on. So, yeah. I nagged them a lot. We got it in the middle of our road back home, and for no reason, because it's not like I could have played it on the road. Could have just waited till we got home. Sorry, Dad. But it's here. A few years go by, and I just love playing Super Mario Galaxy. For a while I couldn't beat it, but after a while I did beat it, and that was a grand time. And with Super Mario Galaxy 2, my cousin owned Galaxy 2. This is his copy as well. This was also a game that he gave me, and I thank him for that because Galaxy 2 is as good as Galaxy 1. It's just not a true sequel, it's just more of an expansion. But whatever. That's a different topic for another day. Now, continuing from the Wii games, especially with the Lego games, I had Lego Star Wars, the complete saga. I remember playing this with my cousin a lot, and that was a lot of fun. We did beat the game together. I also remember playing this a lot by myself, and I beat it by myself. I'm proud of that. Just not fully 100% it because I was too dumb for 100% completion rate, but this one was the Lego game that I came back to a lot, and I wish Skywalker Saga just was so much better. Now, the thing with a kid having access to PlayStation 3 games, as is with his dad's system, he had access to Call of Duty. I remember going to school quite a few times, and I hear other kids mention that, like, oh yeah, I played the new Call of Duty, and I was completely puzzled. So when I found that my dad has Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I was asking him if I could play it. It was a no for a while, but we led around to it. So I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I was not good at it. I remember playing the campaign for it, and if you know, you know. But I didn't think too much of it, for some reason. Yeah, I like playing the game. I was just really bad at it, and I also had Modern Warfare 3 quite a few years after. I remember going to my uncle's house and playing it. My other uncle's house, not the uncle that had Super Mario Galaxy. And being like, hey, I like this game. And he said, yeah, you're gonna have it. And I got Modern Warfare 3. So my dad owns this one and I own this one. Now, SingStar. I remember playing this with my dad a lot. A little karaoke. Who doesn't love a little karaoke? And this is the game where I actually discovered Gorillaz 192000. I am now a big fan of Gorillaz. So, thank you, SingStar, for introducing me to 192000. And also Song 2 of Blur. Now, basically, the other karaoke machine for me was Rock Band. I played this a lot with my family and our family friends. I always picked a singer because I always thought I had the voice of an angel. I didn't. But it was quite a fun game with, like, singing all to these songs. And I say all these songs, and I only just mean just a very small few. I sang Creep by Radiohead. And there was another game that my dad owned where I was just engrossed in for no reason. Motorstorm. I don't even know if people know about this game. But it was basically like an off-road racing game that I was not good at. I just for some reason played this a lot because I liked how cool it looked. I like how cool the cover looked. I was judging a book by its cover. but I loved it. Also, another game I know that my dad did not own with this console, I think it was just me and my sister kind of thing, was iPads. Do people know iPad? Do people remember iPads? Because I remember iPads. And I just like this dumb little creature right here. He is so cute. Like I just remember popping this game back in and like taking care of him. Oh, he's taking a little bath. And like oh yeah, you have to shower him, get to clothe him, put him in a bubble. I think. Like petting him and then playing like toys with him, playing fetch with him. It was like owning a dog, but like digitally. Now getting into the superhero type of stuff, we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Now I did not play this with anybody, just mainly myself. I never really got that far into the game. I don't even remember what happens in the game. I know there was just like a big creature that you had to fight at the beginning. I forgot his name. I am sorry, Marvel fans. But yeah, I remember playing Spider-Man a lot. Spider-Man, and Spider-Man. Basically Spider-Man. And another game, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. You can see that it's a tie-in game because you can see Chris Evans. It's just that while I did play this a lot, I did not get far in either. It was just one of those like, oh, it's a superhero game, I must play it, and that was it. But also continuing the superhero theme. And also the fact that the PlayStation 3 was backwards compatible. My dad had PlayStation 1 games, and one of those was Spider-Man by Neversoft. I have to specify by Spider-Man Neversoft because there's another game called Spider-Man, but that Spider-Man is by Insomniac. Yeah. So this is like one of the first true Spider-Man games. It wasn't open world though. It was very linear gameplay. But it was like the one where like you can actually like swing with. There were other games, but they were more like very restricted in where you swing, and it was more like you gotta get to the thing and then you can beat Green Goblin, I believe. But with Neversoft, it was like the opening to somewhat of an open world game, and that was fun. Just the thing is, this game is broken, like flipping broken. A lot of the cutscenes would just like not play and they freeze quite a few times. Also, if you played in any other difficulty that's not the kid mode, which is the easiest difficulty, there's a certain like gameplay moment where it just soft locks you into a spot, and you let Venom get away, and you just can't move forward with it because it just soft locks you. So, yeah.
Wait, what? Okay, now I'm running into a wall. What?
Slowpoke?
You lost Venom? I don't understand. I don't know what's going on.
But I played in kid mode, so I was able to like beat the game, and that was fun. And my dad was a fan of the classics, the arcade classics. Yeah, the Namco games. Pac-Man, Galaga, Miss Pac-Man, Dig Dug. Yeah. These were fun to pop in because like I was always interested in playing these games and what my dad was into, so these were cool. And the final game we'll be looking at is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I played this a lot alongside Spider-Man. It was a skating game. I didn't really know what to do with it. I just went around skateboarding. I'm not really much of a skateboard person, more of a bike person per se, but I'm not really like highly skilled bicyclist or like extreme bicyclist. So it was a cool game, and that's it. Alright, you might be asking yourself, what about your DS games? You mentioned the DS. Well, here they are. You will be extremely disappointed. So first we have Pokemon Black version 2. Yep, I got the sequel of Pokemon Black version, just not the original Black version, or White version for the matter. Yeah, when it came out, I got it, I believe, and I played it. Couldn't quite get far by myself quite for a while, but then I got far, and I eventually beat it after a few years. And I never really caught them all because I didn't really have anybody to trade with. Plus, I was too stupid to actually catch them all. But I loved it because there was just so much to do with it with this game. Not like the later Pokemon games. They're just decreasingly becomes less and less and less to do with Pokemon games. With this one, you can participate in tournaments. You can make movies. You can make movies in this one. And then like there's so much people to talk to, and then you get to like be a capitalist and make like your own like general like mall type of thing. You get to be in a fashion show. You get to be in so many the train station battles. I forget what they're called. There's all these little activities that you can do. There's just so much to do in this game. And that's why I loved it, and that's why I don't so much love the later Pokemon games. Next we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem. Now I did have this one and another Mario vs. Donkey Kong mini Mario game. It was a digital download, so I can't really show you, but yeah, I remember coming to this a lot. I remember making a lot of the custom levels, but making them like overcomplicatedly easy. So there's that. Not much else to say. Alright, the next thing. Mario Kart DS. Yes, more Mario. I remember playing this a lot. Maybe more than Wii. I'm not completely sure. But a lot of like on the road trips and stuff like that. And there was also like a single player mode. That was fun to do. Not much else. Alright, next game, Mario Party. Yep, Mario again. Mario Party DS. So this was like the Mario Party 8 experience that I want. It was like where like something I can play this whole incredible story mode of when they turn small and they then go beat Bowser and get this wand thing. And I loved it. It was because it felt catered to a single player experience, and that's what I like about it. I didn't have anybody to play with, for the matter. Alright, and the next thing, Pokemon, another Pokemon game, Conquest. Do people remember Conquest? I do not know, but Conquest was a favorite of mine because, I don't know, like the whole like kingdom and conquering thing, I mean, that's cool. As a kid, you get to have a active imagination. I remember like role playing as a character a lot. I remember being there quite a few times, but I never really did like the other story stuff. I've only just played like the main game, and because that was like the only interesting part of the game to me. Yeah. And look, another Mario game. Yep, more Mario, New Super Mario Bros. Like, so basically what I got to do on New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but by myself. And that was fun because I get to be by myself and I could be the pro gamer that I am as a kid. I was not a pro gamer. And the final thing, Mario game. I had a lot of Mario on my DS. But this one is one of my favorite games of all time. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. The Mario and Luigi series is like the coolest like series of the Mario franchise of them all, because it's Mario and Luigi, and you get to be inside. But anyway, you get to play as Bowser and Mario and Luigi, so that was like the coolest thing ever for like young me. And Yeah, I just loved it because it was filled with so many like cool like missions to do and cool environments, and the whole RPG style was just like so simple to me in this game. So like I was like easily able to comprehend it. And that's why I love it. And that pretty much brings the close to like video games when I was younger. Pretty much on and forward, we did get eventually a Wii U, and my dad ended up owning an Xbox system, and then I ended up owning Nintendo Switch system. That's pretty much like where I got into my teenage years, of course, and yeah, that's fun. That is fun. But there are a few games that I have not mentioned, but I would like to bring a certain spotlight to. Now, here's a game that's missing its cover, but it's Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. This was a PS1 game that I played often. About the same as Spider-Man, because I don't know why. I mean, like the whole idea of like being this little guy, Spyro the Dragon, that was cool to me. And I remember just being engrossed by like the progression of the environments and the world, and like beating up them enemies down. And yeah, I never really got far. I only like beat like the first world, and then I kind of got bored with the second world. I never really got to the third world. Never. Ever. That was until like the Spyro like remake came out, but that was well into my teenage years, so it doesn't really count as my childhood. But my childhood was the first few hours with Spyro 2, and it was just a fun time. But it would also be the catalyst into a downfall. A downfall of my college savings. So yes, if you recognize this, well, I hope it didn't hurt you too much in the long run. If you don't recognize this, well, this is Spyro, but he looks a little different from when I showed you, right? Well, this is the toy of Spyro, but not just any toy. A toy that comes to life. Yes, I got Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, the game that caused so much pain in the video game market of just being too damn expensive. It was a game where it showed you that toys can come to life. You could bring the real world object into this game, and that was so cool. I remember getting this game with my sister when we received it as a Christmas present. It was because we played a lot of Spyro, and my parents saw Spyro, and they were like, ooh, they would like this game. And we got the Spyro. I did play it with my sister a couple times. She barely got into it. I got into it, and I might have gone too far a little bit sometimes, because I collected a lot of these little guys for no reason. I didn't even know who these guys were. That's a troll. Were you Boom Boom? So yes, a lot of Skylanders are a bunch of original characters, and they had to sell the idea. Oh wait, this is a Spyro reboot. This is Spyro's Adventure. He's not even in the center of the little team up going on here. I remember playing a lot through Skylanders. It took me quite a while to get through it. And I remember being like, oh, I'm gonna get that toy so that can help me unlock this elemental gate. I remember doing that. That was just Spyro's Adventure. But that was until a year later. Skylanders Giants. They're Skylanders, but they're giant. They're big. Woo! And like Spyro's just not in the cover anymore, so that is just sad. But I remember Skylanders Giants a lot. I remember like beating it and going up to my dad like, whoa, I beat the game. And then I remember collecting a lot of more of these toys, just a lot more, especially the Giants. The Giants were kind of cool, but it felt more like a more well-rounded experience compared to Spyro's Adventure. Like Spyro's Adventure, kind of rough around the edges, and then Giants, kind of like a little expansion pack for it. but not much to it. But that was until a year later. Skylander Swap Force. So, Swap Force, you get to swap the top and the bottom part of the Skylander's body parts. That is so cool! Like the whole idea of this like Swap Force team, like they were like the coolest looking Skylanders to me. These were the coolest guys ever. And you can switch their body parts through magnets? That's cool! So yes, I got a lot more toys with this, asking for my birthday and Christmas and any day in between. It's starting to get really expensive. Of course, I never really like completed any of the collections of each game at this point, but I kept collecting each figure from each of the games. And then just Swap Force was just so cool. But you may notice that I got it on the Wii. So, Skylanders, for the first two games, was primarily like a Wii thing. But, as a kid, you kind of don't realize that there's other game systems. And with that, you kind of don't know how underpowered the Wii is. It is so underpowered. So, this game was made with like the new generation of consoles in mind. And it was ported to the Wii. Yeah, I mean, at the time, I don't remember running poor slowly, but I guess in like the most recent time that I played Swap Force, yeah, it wasn't doing so hot. But I still played it, I still beat it, I still got the toys, and we're moving on to the next year. Trap Team. Okay, so yeah, you get to collect the villains of the Skylanders universe through these little crystal traps. And that's cool, I guess. Not as cool as switching body parts through magnets, but that's cool. And I end up getting more of the toys. I end up getting every single element of the traps. And I also got the Chaos one, somehow. I don't exactly remember, but I got all of them. Not all of them, just one of each elemental type. So I didn't really catch all the villains, but you know. Yes, so I got more toys, and then, yep, on the Wii. Oh my god. I mean, at the time, I didn't really notice, but, like, recently, it's just, oh. So yeah, after that point, you would realize that the Wii is just underpowered, but not me, not this kid, me. So on to the next year. Superchargers. That was a very disappointing year for me. Again, Wii. But you may also notice something. Racing. So a little context. So yes, Superchargers were coming out and there were vehicles. And Bowser? Yeah, Bowser and Donkey Kong were Skylanders. I don't know how that works, but it works. So yeah, there were vehicles and I was quite interested in getting it. But young me, not knowing the powerfulness of video game system, I wanted to get it on the Wii. So I asked for it on the Wii. I remember being so excited, like, oh man, yes, Superchargers, the next Skylanders game. I'm gonna get more toys. It's just racing. I barely paid any second note to the subtitle racing. I thought I was gonna get the whole Superchargers experience. I just got the racing mode. When I found out that it was just racing, I was extremely disappointed. And I don't think I touched it ever again. Like, I didn't want the racing mode. I wanted to play through Skylanders. I want to be Bowser beating up bad guys. But I didn't get that. And I would tell my parents, they're like, wait, I got the wrong version. I got the wrong version. There's not much else to do with that. So that was kind of where the Skylanders addiction kind of ended, because I was stuck with this game that was just racing and I didn't get the full experience. But that was until a year later. Yep, that is right. I got Skylanders Imagineers, and yes, for the Xbox One. I finally learned, and it was more well into my teenage years, so this kind of exits out of my childhood. But I'm trying to give like a little timeline here. So, Imaginators, yeah, you get to make your own Skylander. I think Toys for Bob kind of just gave up on Skylander designs and just said, screw it, you can make your own. And I think that was the whole idea of it. I mean, a lot of like the design elements to make your own Skylander weren't the most interesting. I mean, there were like cool like power skill sets, but to make them like look cool and good, yeah, there wasn't really that much of it. But Imaginators was still a cool game to me. I still got to collect the toys. Not as much as the previous games. And I did get quite a few of these Imaginator crystal things. And I did beat it. And that was pretty much the end because there was no more Skylanders games. That was a very disappointing next year. But there was a TV show on Netflix. 6 games! I got all 6 games. Be glad I didn't get into Disney Infinity. This was an important part of my childhood because this was like the game franchise I was consistently into, and I just kept getting all the toys. And as you can see from the B-roll footage, yeah, I got quite a lot, and it's turned out very, very expensive. Especially like in the later games, a lot of the figures started to go up in price because they were a lot more detailed and bigger than this little guy, which I think was like $8 for like each figure, which wasn't that bad. I mean, for a toy that looks pretty detailed already and looks cool and has like a whole thing on the bottom to like make sure it activates with the game. I mean, $8, I mean, that's not too bad at the time. And now I think now like with the Imaginator toys, I think they were like $16 for a figure, and that got a little too crazy. So obviously it got less toys when Imaginators came around. But I enjoyed this game franchise, and it was all because of this little guy. With this guy coming first. Even though you're not really the face of the franchise anymore, I still got into Skylanders with all the original characters. I mean, I don't really know how. I can't even remember most of their names right now. But hey, it was a good time. Now, as for other toys that I had in my life, well, here we have Lego. At least part of it. A lot of it is in boxes and in my glass case that I keep for them not collecting dust. So obviously I'll show some B-roll footage here. I love Lego. I mean, like the whole aspect of like building all these things. But back then when I was younger, it was like this whole thing of just playing with them. So there's this whole thing with acting as the toy versus directing the toy. I was directing the toy. And a lot of it came from these figures. This is a little case where I kept all like the minifigure pieces at. That. And you have the Green Ninja! So a lot of it just came from playing with these minifigures and then making like this whole making like this whole cinematic universe. I had this idea of just like this whole like franchise of movies, kind of like the MCU. And it was like, and that's gonna happen, and I would all act it out with these minifigures. They were like a little storyboard toys to me. But besides that, I was also really destructive. There are boxes of just destroyed sets, and I do not know how to rebuild them. I was very destructive when I was younger. I didn't really know how to take care of a lot of my toys, especially the Lego sets. But now I do. A lot of them now I keep safe in my glass case, as you can see. But there's that. You'll also notice that I was deep into the Ninjago side of things. See, I was into the TV show when I was younger, and then saw the sets, and I was like, whoa, I want to get that set. And so I did. And I got more, and I got more, and more, and more, and I got as much sets as I can get. So I was into Ninjago, and that was pretty much like the only sets that I got. I didn't really get any Lego City, or like dragons, or knights, or whatever there else was, or even Star Wars or Marvel for the matter, all I got was Ninjago because they were the coolest sets to me. Why y'all? Eventually, a lot of time has passed where I don't really act out my cinematic universe anymore. It's a whole scrapped idea now because it wasn't really like a coherent story for the most part. So a lot of the Lego sets that I get now, I just like to build them and display them because I don't know, a lot of them just have display value to them. Where like, hey, that's a cool thing that I want to build, and here I did that. I built that. So while yes, I didn't really get to make my whole cinematic universe, and they're not really, and I'm eventually like making my own videos, and I have to make my own storyboards. So it's not really something that I just come back to anymore. Maybe I should every once in a while. I don't know. I think it'll be fun. But a lot of the Lego sets I get now, they're just there for display, and I liked it because I built that. Like, and they look so cool when they're built. And especially now with like Ninjago Lego sets, I just don't watch Ninjago anymore, so I just don't get any sets. But yeah, here's Lloyd. Still not his face. There is also a big collection that I have. That's right. For a while, I was a heavy Diary of a Wimpy Kid reader. Wanna know why? Because it was very simple for me. At the time, when I was younger, I mean, there's silly little pictures, and the text is very simple to read. And it was a good children's book. And it was a good start for me. But I kept going. I got Project Rules. I got The Last Straw. I have Dog Days. I have The Ugly Truth. Cabin Fever. The Third Wheel. This one comes as a close second as a favorite. I think either like the first, second, or third one is my favorite. It's really a tie between these three. Hard Luck. The Long Haul. Old School. Double Down. This is the weakest book of the series so far. The Getaway. The Meltdown with the 20% off Target sticker. And Wrecking Ball. Of course, there's been a few more that came out afterwards. Never got them because, well, I kind of grew out of it. I mean, like, pretty much like after like Old School, I just really got these books because of, I don't know, just a feeling that like the series is still going, and I felt like I needed to continue a collection, and especially like, I don't know, just have books maybe for a later generation. Who knows? But I love this series. It was really the only book that I had enjoyed in the past. I never really enjoyed reading as like a fun time activity, but Diary of a Wimpy Kid was like the fun time activity for me, and I liked it. There was also the movies that came out. I hold those movies to my heart. There was the whole trilogy, and then there was Long Haul. Long Haul is like, it feels like it tries to continue what the first three movies did, but with the new like cast, I don't know, it just kind of feels lost. It kind of just feels lost in its like storytelling and the same elements of the first three movies. It feels like it's like doubling down on like grossed out humor, or like, ooh, Gen Z humor and whatnot. And then there's the Disney Plus movies. There was the first one, and there's Project Rules, and then there was Cabin Fever. All of a sudden, that happened. I'd not watched that one. But those Disney Plus films, well, they're just okay. I mean, With like the animation test I was shown, I was expecting a lot more, but it was just way too. It was just way too simple. Now it was now doubling down on the simplicity of the series. I still hold Diary of a Wimpy Kid close to my heart in my childhood because it was. I just felt like it was the one series that I could really get into. It was just like slice of life stories that I liked. And also, a few years back, I wrote a letter to Jeff Kinney. Yeah, the author of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I do not remember what I wrote. It was like back in 2013, 2014, I believe. And then a few years later, November of 2019, I got a letter back. So here we go. This is the letter with a signature. And it says, Dear Nicholas, a few years back you wrote to tell me you were a fan of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. I wanted to tell you how much I appreciate the letter, and to apologize for not responding sooner. One of the most rewarding things about being an author is getting letters from fans like yourself. I feel very lucky that my books have reached so many people, and I'm grateful for each and every letter I've received. It's people like you who inspire me to make sure the Wimpy Kid books are as funny as they can be. The last few years have been busier than I could ever imagine. In addition to working on the books, movies, and other projects, I have 2 kids of my own, and I'm doing my best to be a good dad to them. When you add up everything in my life, I'm not left with much time to personally respond to the letters I receive from my fans. This is something that really bothers me because I know how much time it takes to write a personal note. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for reaching out and telling me that you like my books. A lot of time has passed since you wrote me, and I'm sure you moved on from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, but I hope you know how much I appreciate your kindness. Your friend, Jeff Kinney. Obviously it's typed out, and it says page 49 at the bottom of the page. I don't know how much of it could possibly be copy and pasted from like other letters that he have got into, but I liked it. It was it was nice to get a response back. I mean, I might have moved on from the books, but in some way I've not. I still have all these books, even some of the new ones, even though there's still some that I've not gotten to and probably won't for a long time, probably, or never. There was also a time where I met Jeff Kinney at a book signing convention of sorts. I was a lot younger, so I'm not completely sure when or where it was. But I'm pretty sure it was around the time where Long Haul came out, and I met Jeff Kinney. I even got a picture of him. I don't know where the picture is. My mom has it somewhere in her stuff, but yeah, I met him, and he ended up signing my copy of the Long Haul. Here it is, to Nicholas, and his signature. Of course, like I did get when I originally got the Long Haul, I did get like a signed copy, and then when I was at the convention, my mom ended up buying me the Long Haul again and a do-it-yourself book, and I got this one signed. Personally, I like keeping this in my collection because it was like an in-the-moment autograph, and that was nice. Sucks it's part of a book where like I enjoyed, but like it's a pretty aimless story in here, where it's just kind of where it's just a kind of failed family summer vacation trip, and ended up getting the worst movie adaptation of the bunch. But hey, Jeff Kinney, if you're somehow watching this, I still love the franchise. Now, I want to get into movies. Movies make up a large part of my life now. Now that I want to be a filmmaker, directing, writing, editing, obviously a lot of movies have become part of my life now. But what shaped me in my childhood was a lot of like Marvel, DC, Disney, Pixar movies. See, Marvel is all about all the superheroes and whatnot. I think like my first like conscious like like my first like vivid memory of like hearing about like the MCU was like going to Disney World like for a summer vacation. We went to like this little preview thing, and it was for Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was a pretty cool thing. But really, where I was interested in Marvel was the Spider-Man movies. From I remember watching the first three movies when I was younger with Tobey Maguire, like those being my first superhero movies. So I was into Spider-Man from the start. And then there was the Amazing Spider-Man movies that came out. Those were cool as well. I mean, at the time, now that I think about them, story-wise, they're just okay, but visually they're cool. And then everything around, like the whole MCU. I mean, at the beginning there was just Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Thor. I didn't really watch those movies. I mean, I think like sporadically I've watched them. I just can't have like vivid memories of them. But like the one clear one was going into that like previous screening of Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and I enjoyed it. And then from there on, we went to Age of Ultron, and yeah, I'm starting to see the pieces. Like, okay, watching these other films, Avengers, and then Age of Ultron, and then we get to Captain America: Civil War, and I see Spider-Man, and I was like, oh my god, it's Spider-Man in the main Marvel stuff. So that was a cool moment for me. And then from there on out, I definitely got into the MCU and all the stuff that's happened. As for DC, I've not cared about it. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of bunch of stuff coming out for it under, like, to my intention. I mean, there was stuff, but like under my radar, you know. I mean, it wasn't really until like Batman vs Superman where I like, oh yeah, those guys. Besides that, moving on to animation. Yeah, in this family, I've watched a lot of Disney and Pixar animated movies. We have a whole bunch of movies in our collection where it's Disney and Pixar, and I grew up with those. Like a lot of the early Pixar films and some of the mid 2000s Disney movies, I grew up with those. And with each movie, I was getting more intrigued by the filmmaking and the behind the scenes, especially all like the bloopers and gag reels. That always gets a laugh out of me. I've always like watched like those. I always wanted to watch those bonus features when we have a movie. I would just want to watch them because like, oh, there's some cool information in here. And then as time progressed, I watched more of those bonus features every now and then, and like, I want to get into that, get into something where I can make something like that. So I want to show off a few of my favorite movies from my childhood. First of which is WALL-E. Now this looks a little weird because it's from the Criterion Collection. That's right, the one and only Pixar movie that is in the Criterion Collection is WALL-E. I still like the little sticker because it has a signature of Andrew, it has Andrew Stanton's signature. So yeah, I liked it. When I first saw this, I was like, man, I gotta get that. So obviously this is like one of those new things. WALL-E hasn't been in the Criterion Collection until recently. But WALL-E was still a pretty big part of my life. I've always loved watching the movie, and it's one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time. That's why I got it from the Criterion Collection. It also comes with this like little booklet of sketches and notes. See? And now my other favorite Pixar movie is Ratatouille. Best reviewed film of the year according to Rotten Tomatoes. And Ratatouille is also, has been a pretty big part of my life as I've always constantly watched it. Nothing special going on right here. Another childhood movie was Speed Racer, and it wasn't until like recently I found out that it's a 2-hour movie. Yeah, that's right. Younger me sat down and had my eyes focused and all of my attention on this movie for 2 hours. I have a big attention span. Not so much anymore. So I watched this with both of my eyes, all of my attention, for 2 hours. That's a pretty big attention span for younger me. But I love Speed Racer because I just like how visually it looked. I love it. I still love it to this day. I still love the acting. I didn't really know much about acting or the story when I was younger, but now that I do, I love it. I love the story. I love the acting. Of course, now it would be seen as like CGI, but I don't know. I still find it fun. I still find it charming. And nothing special going on here. A widescreen edition with a bit of a torn wrapping around. Please release it on 4K. Please, Warner Bros. And the final movie that I'll be showing here for today is Astro Boy. This may seem like an oddball one, but I remember watching this a lot in my childhood because I felt like connected into being like this robot kid right here. It was fun, charming, cute, and not much else to say about it. I just watched it a lot often because of how cool it was to be a robot kid and fight evil and whatnot. I don't even know much about like the original anime or stuff like that. I just knew the movie. Still loved the movie. So that's movies in my life, and of course, like, I'm getting into filmmaking now. And as you know, I've also make music on the side. So how did music shape me in my childhood? Well, so on our last topic for this video, music, I'm gonna make a little timeline of events here. So it all started out as a young lad going online, and of course under supervision. I would go online and find and be fascinated by YouTubers. Of course, there was the whole Minecraft thing going on, but what was also going on with the Minecraft thing were the parody songs. Now, I've done a full parody song retrospective now, and I still fairly enjoy these songs. I mean, I don't listen to them often, but I still enjoy them. I still like them. They're of good quality. So throughout for a while, Minecraft parody songs were really the only music that I listened to for a good while, up until really the 8th grade. Ugh. But a little before that, with my first phone, there wasn't really much I could do with it. It was my first phone. All I could do was like play that little like Pac-Man demo, and just call, text my family, and that was all that I could do with it. But on my first phone, I did have songs downloaded, and those two songs were Counting Stars and Paradise. So with that phone, those were the only two songs that I was able to listen to on that phone. Did I actually ever enjoy them? I mean, a part of me want to say yes, but now looking back, it was just like those songs existed in my life and they're there. It was until I was introduced to something that was made by Minecraft YouTuber Sunday. On to my second phone now. I've had access to online stuff now, which meant YouTube, Google, you know. And with that, I've discovered 99 Lives. It was an EDM record label that posted songs from many different EDM artists. And that was the only thing that I listened to for a good while, too. I had a massive EDM phase, and I don't really know how to explain it. I mean, like like the songs had like cool visuals, so I guess that's part of it. And they also had like giveaways as well, so I got like merch and free downloaded albums of the songs. So I had a bunch of songs from them downloaded. It was a cool thing going on. But later down into the YouTube rabbit hole, I discovered nerdcore.
They send you a letter to come back home to play, but to your dismay, this isn't your day, for the happy fun time has begun to fade.
Majority of the nerdcore that I listened to were like FNAF songs, bandy songs, a bunch of indie game nerdcore songs. Majority of it coming from DA Games, CJ5, Nate Wants to Battle, and a whole bunch of other artists. And that was the phase where like, hell yeah, this is real music, because a lot of these artists can actually sing and rap, and I was still young. And not so much later was a bit of a heavy metal phase. Because of DA Games, they also produce material under Iris, heavy metal music. And that was a phase where, and like when Goliath's Throne released, that was like the phase like you don't get it. So a little bit evolved from like this is real music to like you don't get it, and I had to like be like actually the lore here is that Goliath is hibernating and he has now become the animal. No, that's not the lore. So it's kind of just that music for a while, just strictly metal music from Iris, and then the nerdcore music that DA Games and CJ5 and a bunch of artists would make. It was until TikTok was becoming a prominent thing. This was around, I guess, 2020 to 2021, so we're kind of exiting childhood, but I'm giving a timeline of events. TikTok was the place where I can find other people's music. So I was introduced to a bunch of like other hip hop, rap songs, some dance songs, maybe a slight jazz here and there. But it was a place where I could check out other people's music. So I started broadening my horizon. So it was like that for a while, and then with my friend Toger, you know him from other videos, mainly our Fortnite videos. But Toger introduced a lot of music to me, and that then comes Quadeca as a music artist. And that introduced me to a lot of high concept music. And that came from Iris. So I got really invested into high concept albums and music and experimental tracks where they sound so cool sonically. So I broadened my horizons to a bunch of independent artists, and where we are today, there's a lot of independent and mainstream stuff. When I broadened my horizon from a bunch of independent people and their music, I feel like I was able to digest a lot of the mainstream stuff now. Got in like Kendrick Lamar, Billie Eilish, and a whole bunch of people that I can't really name. Joji. So nowadays I'm a pretty average music listener, and as a hobby now and a skill set that I have, I'm making music on the side. So now I'm listening to all these different stuff and getting inspiration. So today I just love music as it is. I grew out of being like, oh, this is real music, and oh, you just don't get it. I grew out of that, and I'm happy about it. But I still look back on my childhood where I would just listen to Minecraft parody songs and think, man, that is just how I started. But I grew out of that, and I've been making my own stuff, and I've been listening to so many other artists now. And you know, I appreciate back then where I can appreciate all these like platforms where it introduced me to so much. So I listened to a bunch of stuff, and I know my style pulls from a lot of those different styles, and that's music for me. Then that kind of wraps up everything. And you know, with the two interests I'm actively engaged with, making movies, making music. It's great to share this, and I hope others do the same, and that we all learn more about each other, or even make a new friend down in the comments. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like. Consider subscribing to see my projects, to see all that I've been working on, and ring the bell to stay notified of my projects. And as I said, please leave down some of your childhood memories or thoughts down in the comments. We can have a whole conversation. Hopefully, also to notes, I'm making this video in time for my birthday. Kind of like a birthday reminiscing. So this video will go up on October 2nd, my birthday, and I'll be turning 21. So I'll see you in the next one.